It's been over 2 weeks now since the launch of Athena, the fifth Cataclysm realm by Twinstar. I've played a few dozen hours on the server since its launch. I've seen most of what the server has to offer, and although the raids aren't open yet, I think it's about right time for an early review of the server. Athena is a progressive Cataclysm private server realm with quality of life features. It started on the 11th of November 2023, fresh with everyone at level 1 and maximum experience rates of ×3 with up to ×6 on bonus weekends. If you want to know more about the quality of life features or more general information about the server, you can either visit their website, link in the video description, or watch some of my previous videos where I go through it. Faction balance, according to their website, is at 62% Horde and 38% Alliance, which isn't really a big issue since the server is cross-faction. And here comes the answer to the most frequent question and a very controversial topic: server population. Twinstar hasn't shown their online numbers since about 10 years ago, but now they decided to show the number of active players and new accounts on the website. Unfortunately, many people can't read with comprehension. Active players does not mean current online players, and so many people assume that this number, 9,000 plus active players, shown on the website means that Athena has almost tripled the amount of players playing on it in comparison to its biggest competition, Whitemane Maelstrom, which is up to around 4,000 players online at peak. Whitemane also shows a similar information to Twinstar's active players. On Whitemane, it's called unique players from the last 7 days, and it's around 28,000. Twinstar doesn't specify what the active players term means. Is it active in the last 24 hours, last week, last month, since Athena's release? So this number essentially means nothing, and we can't compare it to anything else since we, including myself, usually focus on what we can see in the game, and that is the actual number of players online at the given moment. I don't know why Twinstar chose this approach. Instead of giving us the online player count, they instead give this active players numbers to confuse people, and I'm sure they were fully aware of the impact and misunderstandings this will cause. I went on a tangent here, but I think this needs to be clarified even for Twinstar's own defense, because since they put out these numbers, people have been accusing them of faking their population. So how many people actually play on Twinstar's Athena? My assumption, based on what I have seen, would be somewhere around 3,000 players in the evening on the launch day and few days after. It most likely decreased by a couple hundred now. It's definitely not close to Whitemane Maelstrom's numbers, but Athena is still a solidly populated server with good enough population to do just about anything, except PvP. The new realm overall impressed me more than disappointed me, except the participation in PvP, which is almost none. I was surprised not to see much battlegrounds going on low levels for leveling purposes, since that is by far the fastest way to level here. And even at the end game, it turned out that the people playing on Athena are just not interested in playing PvP. You have around 2 battleground groups actively playing in the evenings, but close to 0 are in participation, not even 2v2. I was able to play like 4 arena games, and most of the time there is either 1 or 0 teams queued up for 2v2 maximum, even at peak. I guess Whitemane's launch of the Path of War feature, alongside all the improvements to PvP, the catch-up systems and so on, and their actual care for PvP on the server is just a lot more attractive. But don't get that confused. This time I have to praise Twinstar's team for their effort. They are constantly improving the server, implementing new quality of life features all the time, and reacting to the situation and players' suggestions, which is really nice to see. Talking about PvP, 3 days ago they lowered the player count requirements for all battlegrounds so they would encourage more PvP participation. You also receive double currency for playing during the bonus weekends, making the grind for your gear much easier. And lastly, where the fuck are the PvP ladders for Athena? It's been a whole week since the PvP season started, and we still can't see the arena ladders for the realm. Twinstar's Cataclysm realms have always been one of the best with scripting, even for the old content. I ran a few random PvE instances for Transmog and they all worked. That is something you rarely see on other private servers. Overall, I have seen some bugs on the server. It's not perfect, and perfection is never something you should expect on a private server, but Twinstar is as close as it's gonna get. To give you an example, I was in a dungeon group, we wiped, I ran back in the ghost form, then I suddenly got teleported back to the angel again. I was like, okay, let's run back again. And then midway running, I saw my corpse there. When I ran to the dungeon entrance, I wasn't able to enter and resurrect because my corpse teleported outside of that dungeon, but it wouldn't let me res there either. The weirdest bug ever. Fortunately, one of my teammates was able to res me, but then I appeared in a different location outside of the dungeon. Teleporting to the dungeon with the eye fixed it, and then I just ran to join my teammates. So that's just one example of scripting not being perfect even on Twinstar, but overall close to 10 out of 10 from what I have seen. Latency is great, no delay, only few crashes in the several days it's been up, so stability is great too. Twinstar team is actively helping and answering questions on their Discord server, taking in suggestions. They increased professions to ×2 as well. I would still like to have AoE loot on the server too. I think it's stupid having to loot every mob individually, like in 2010. Is Athena pay to win? They only recently introduced the option to boost your character to level 80 for donate currency. It helps reaching that max level, but I wouldn't call it pay to win. You can buy services like rename, faction change, mounts, toys, and tabards. You cannot buy any gear or gold on the website, but you can buy characters on Character Auction House. This you could consider pay to win since you can buy a best in slot character, but for me personally, I love this feature. I think every server should have character auction and character trading system so you can trade, sell, or buy characters without the need to level and gear from scratch in case you no longer find your character fun anymore or you want to try something else. So although the feature can be considered pay to win, it also gives a lot of value to people that don't pay real money but have characters they no longer care about and want to experience the game through a different lens. This has been my experience playing on Twinstar's Athena so far. It is a good server that I can recommend to anyone except PvP players. If you want to play PvP, don't waste your time here. But if you're looking for a solid, really well scripted, all-around Cataclysm Fresh server with progressive content release, many great quality of life features, and if you mostly play in the afternoons and evenings and on the weekends, then Twinstar's Athena could be a great place for you. Just don't expect for it to be alive for too long. As soon as the next fresh Cata comes out, when Cata Classic comes out, both of these will decrease Athena's popularity further. Once the progression is over on Athena, the realm will most likely merge with Apollo after about a year from now, and there you will be able to play your characters on Cataclysm forever on a server with smaller population of a few hundred players. That is my prediction, and it is what has happened with every other fresh Cata realm from Twinstar in the past. I can certainly see big improvements in how the team is handling the server, and had it not been for Whitemaine's Maelstrom, Athena could have been the best fresh Cataclysm by Twinstar to date. But it's still great that we have the choice of two really good international Cataclysms now. I'm happy that I don't have to call Athena a disappointment, and hope Twinstar keeps going strong. I will not be playing on the server anymore, since not having active PvP participation is a no-go for me. If it ever improves, I might come back, but I don't think much would change in favor of PvP participation on the server. But you decide for yourselves if it's really that important for you, and if not, then maybe Twinstar's Athena will be your new home. It's still a solid A-tier server, the second best Cataclysm server, even exceeding Whitemaine in some aspects. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, comment about your experience on the server. All the best to Twinstar team, and see you in World of Warcraft.